Hello, my name is Tamsin Anderson. I am a Storyline developer, and today I'd like to show you some powerful things that you can do with master slides in Storyline. So here I have a very simple file. I've kept the visuals nice and simple because I want you to focus here on the functionality. So let's say we have a module where we have alternating text slides with interactivity slides. Let's say we have 3 different topics that we're covering: text interaction, text interaction, text interaction. And let's say we wanted to add a progress bar up at the top left. So if you don't use masters, you can just throw a progress bar up here, add it to every slide, and copy it everywhere. A more efficient way of doing that, though, is to use masters to create the progress bar in one place. So I'm going to show you that. Now, I have created a master and several layouts showing those backgrounds that you saw for text and interaction. And your first inclination might be to create the progress bar right here on the top level master slide so that it trickles down to the others. Unfortunately, though, notice if you have a background picture, it's going to cover up that progress bar. So that's not going to work. You don't want to put it on the base layer. Instead, you want to create a layer on the top level master and put it there. So as you can see, I've created a very simple little progress bar here. The bubbles are either empty or filled. I've created a few variables. If on topic 1 is true, the first bubble will be filled. On topic 2 is true, the second bubble will be filled, and so on. All right, so then what you need to do is, if you close out of the masters, oh, I forgot to show one little thing. I have a trigger on the base master layout saying show that layer when the timeline starts on the slide. So that's always going to be visible. The other thing that's very important, if you go into the properties of that layer, you want to uncheck the box to hide other slide layers, because if you have other layers going on in your slides and this pops up, it can close things. So you want to always leave that unchecked for this sort of thing. All right, and then at the slide level, what you need to do is, so let's say we were on topic 1, we're now on the last slide of topic 1. I want to set on topic 2 to value true here. Now, why wouldn't you do that on the topic 2 slide? The answer is the order that the triggers happen. So when you're using masters, these triggers here will happen. They will take place before any slide level triggers. So if you were to put this statement on this slide, all the triggers that process which bubbles are filled happen before that variable gets flipped to true. So you just need to do it on the slide before where you want to see it. So you're going to set on topic 2 to value true on this slide that's right before this one. And I'll demo this to you, preview the scene, and you can see that this works. So it comes up with the first one filled because I set that one default to true. We're here on the slide. Notice this is where I set that trigger to make the next one true, but you're not seeing it here because of the order of operations. But now here it is. And that works for the third bubble as well. So you might be thinking, this seems like a lot of hassle when I can just copy the progress bar everywhere, especially if my module is short. You know, you might have a longer one with 10 to 20 slides per topic, and then copying can become tedious, so that might be where this comes into play. But I would like to show you another scenario where using masters instead of slide level progress bars could be valuable. And that is, what if your module let you explore the topics in any order that you wanted? Then what happens is you would have to create a variable that counts up how many topics have been seen. You'd have to have multiple states for your progress bar, and you'd have to have, every time a slide opens, you'd have to have it calculate how many topics has it seen and select the correct state. And if you're doing that at the slide level, you have to copy that code to every single slide, which is pretty yucky. So here's where masters can become very useful again. So if we go to the masters on this one, so here, ignore this reference for now, I'm going to get to that. I've set a layer to show progress bar. And here, I've set a new variable called topics done, and I increment that variable every time someone clicks on a new topic. And I set the state of the rectangles to be filled as it increments up. So if you go to the slide level, when the learner clicks button topic 1, it adds a value of 1 to topics done, and that value started at 0. It only does that if topic 1 done is equal to false. Let me explain that a little bit. So you could introduce a bug here where if someone clicks topic 1 repeatedly, it's counting that counter, the topics done counter, up and up and up, and your progress bar is filling up even though the learner has only seen topic 1. So I introduced a new variable that at the end of each topic, I set the topic 1 done to value true, and then when you come back here, it only increments that counter if that topic hasn't been clicked before. So that's what that is all about. And so if I demo this scene, you'll see that this time the progress bar starts empty. I'm going to say topic 2 as my first one. And look, it only filled in one bubble. Okay, we come back here. I can click topic 2 again. Still only one bubble because we've only seen one topic. Now I'm going to click topic 3. There's our second bubble. And topic 1 will fill in the last one. So that's where you really get to see the power of masters. Again, if you were doing this at the slide level, you would have to repeat that code on every slide, and that's a pain. It's nice to be able to do it in one place. So the final thing that I'm going to show you here is, what if you wanted, let's say you had a reference guide that you wanted to show in your module, but you only wanted the button for the guide to appear on some slides. So let's say that you wanted the reference guide to show up on all the interaction slides. A little button they can click to see a list of values or reference material or something, but you don't want it to show up on the main text slides. So again, if you do this at the slide level, you'd have to put a button on each of these slides, and if it opens a layer, you'd have to copy that layer to each of those slides. And if your reference guide is in those layers, if you change anything, you have to update it and edit it on 3 different slides. And of course, this is just a small, simple demo. If your module is much bigger, you have to expand that to editing it on 10, 15, 20 slides. You're going to introduce QA errors. You're going to have mistakes, ones that get neglected and don't get updated properly. It's way, way better to put it on the masters and only have one place where you have to update it. So in order to do layers that only show up on some slides, what I've done here is I created a show reference variable that can be either true or false, and it shows the reference layer on the master only if show reference is true. So here's the reference layer. It's a little button and it opens a reference content layer. Alright, so down at the slide level, what you need to do, remember what I said before about you have to set those values on the slide before you want them to take effect. So I don't want the reference button to show up here or on any of these slides, but on this slide I know that the next slide I'm going to see I want that button, so I set show reference to value true here, and when I get to this slide I set show reference to value false to turn it back off before it comes to the menu. So I'm gonna turn that trigger on. Okay, I already turned that on. And we're gonna demo the scene. So we'll go through in order this time. So topic 1, here we are, no reference button. And now we see our reference button. I'm gonna click it. I put a scrim here so you can't click on anything underneath. You could also optionally use a dialog layer to accomplish the same thing. Close that, go on. The reference button is gone. And there it is again. So that's a small, simple demo about some powerful things that you can do with masters, and I hope you enjoyed it.